but there was nothing more to it than that. James and his family grew up in our town, so that was not an unusual thing, and I didn't understand the significance. Then the case came and it went to trial, and along with Entertainment Tonight and all of our major news outlets and the news outlets around the country, following the case and following what happened to Michael in our emergency room. I went to the court one day and I listened. Now, your lawyers will advise you that the CEO shouldn't go to the court, but it was a very informative day for me because I learned and found out that we hadn't done everything correctly. We had had a system failure. We had not followed a physician's order. So when the day came that we were finally trying to settle the case, and quite honestly, many people wanted us to settle it, the public relations staff in particular were not enjoying the process. It was concerning to me because how could you settle something when you had been such a difficult story in the public and had not even put out a defense? And I remember saying to someone, the only way I could ever settle this case is if Jimmy would stand with me and agree to change this hospital for the better. If we could combine our efforts and take the pain that he and his family endured and join it with us to improve the care of the patients going forward, then we could settle. So we asked if he would meet with us, and I met with him. And that's where really all the headlines come. You know, she said she was sorry. Quite honestly, I did nothing other than what my mother taught me. I think all too often in healthcare we evaluate and we are counseled and we read books upon books. But sometimes you just have to go back to your core value. I faced a man who had lost his brother, a brother he had raised in the absence of a father, a brother who cared for an elderly mother while he was out doing his career, someone who was very dear and close to his heart. When I met that man, I did not meet James Woods. I met a family member who had lost a brother because an order that was written by our emergency physician was not carried out by the staff. We did settle the case, and we established the Michael J. Woods Institute. And the purpose of the Institute is to redesign healthcare from a human factors perspective. Some of you in the room are trained in Lean. Some of you are trained in Six Sigma. And those are all wonderful tools. But what happened in our emergency department was the combination of the process and the human fallibility and the design of the space all conspired to create that failure. And that's the perspective that we all agreed to do. So I can't tell you how to say you're sorry. I can just tell you to do what feels right in your heart, because that's what that moment was about. There was one thing though, when James and I started to talk, he very nicely looked at me and said, either you are a better actress than I am an actor, or I'm going to be coming after you. Because the words "I'm sorry" and "can we put this behind and work forward" is meaningless if you do nothing with it. They're not words to be stated lightly. They are words that are meant to create change. So I was fortunate because I'm not as good an actress as he is an actor, which meant that I meant what I was saying. And we have made dramatic change in our emergency department. And hopefully in the future through the rest of our hospital. We have been able to eliminate waiting. We have dropped our time from the arrival in the door, waiting from about 2 hours to see a physician to an average of 30 minutes. We've actually eliminated half of our waiting room. Our overall time in the emergency department has dropped by 2 hours. All of those efforts were important in terms of following up, of making the difference.